One of the best parts of being a rapper is having an entourage. But is your entourage an asset or a liability? And if you're in the crew, do you know which one you are? Here's why entourages can be fun and helpful. For one, they are a great energy booster. Just by having so many people around you with hype energy and just feeding off of one another, it can really boost the entire vibe of a studio session. Bonus points if they support your music and if they actually like what you come up with when you are recording. This is a major confidence booster because when you have the right people in the room with you and it's enough of you, it feels like a party and they're going to be hyping you up and adding to the energy that's going to be put onto the record. And music that has great energy behind it often ends up being music that is the most successful and that most people can relate to on a larger scale. As I've said in a previous video, music is very much spiritual, so it matters what kind of energy and what kind of people you're bringing around you because that's what's going to end up on the track. In addition to the energy and the confidence boost, having a big entourage around you, it also looks great for the optics. Just imagine when you're posting on social media or when you go out to different places, it makes you look like a big shot, like a superstar when you have a bunch of people surrounding you and following you. It just makes you look that much more successful, especially in an industry like music where perception is everything. If you look like you already have a following, if you look like you're already a superstar, major points for the optics. But here is when an entourage can become a liability. With all of those different energies, with all of those people in the room, you do run the risk of your entourage becoming a distraction from the recording process. There have been plenty of times where rappers especially will bring in their entire crew and they are loud. Someone's having a phone conversation directly behind me if I'm engineering the session. They're talking loud, they're yelling, and they just don't really have an understanding of the process of recording and don't really understand that when we are recording, the microphone is very sensitive and it's picking up every little sound, even on the other side of the wall. So your entourage has to be very mindful of the recording process as well, because if they're being loud, they're being a distraction and they're taking away from the overall sound quality of the recording. Now, this next point that I'm going to make about entourages and how they can be a liability is going to hit some of you very deeply and very harshly. Entourages can be a major liability if they are not helping you stay consistent within your music career, especially when you have an entourage who shows up for the party and the optics and because it looks cool to be in a recording studio and because it looks cool to be connected to a rapper, but they are not offering you anything to help you stay consistent or to help you stay motivated to get into the studio and do the shows and invest in the merch, invest in the mixing and the mastering. Being a music artist is a lot. If you don't have the right people around you cheerleading for you, we should be doing that for ourselves. But if you don't have people around you who are also pouring into you, it makes it that much harder. So when you have people around you who are only there for the look of things and the optics of everything, and because it's cool to be next to a rapper, it really takes away from the overall mission and the overall goal of why we're in the studio in the first place. You can think of different stories of artists over the years who they run into a lot of money and they're rolling around with 15, 20 people. But what they don't tell you about those 15, 20 people, the artist is usually taking care of all of those people. Especially when you make it to that level of success, you are likely taking on a bunch of responsibility, which includes paying for bills, paying every time y'all go out to eat, you're paying for 15 to 20 people. And anytime you go out to travel, you're paying for 15 to 20 people, their gas, their food, their plane ticket, their bus ticket, whatever it is that entails with the traveling often comes down on the artist because the artist is the money maker in the group. So when it comes to recording in the studio, you might have people around who show up to the studio, but they didn't help you put in on the studio time. They didn't offer to bring any food or drinks, and they're not even locked in on the recording process. In fact, they're taking away from it and being a distraction. So that's when the entourage becomes a liability. Be very careful and pay attention to those kind of people who are in your space. Now, if you find yourself to be a member of someone's entourage, here is how you can make sure you are an asset to that artist and not a liability. A lot of entourages will drain the artist of all of their resources until there is nothing left. Ask MC Hammer. No shade. So to be an asset when it comes to the recording process, Be the person who offers to bring food. You offer to bring drinks. If you don't have anything there at the studio already, make a food run, make a run to the liquor store, bring some other spirits and libations, if you know what I mean, to help your artist get into the vibe and to make sure that the artist does not have to leave the booth if they do not want to. It can be a major energy waster if the artist has to go out to find something to eat. I know nowadays we do have DoorDash, but sometimes that's not always available, and it takes away from the studio time, which takes away from the money that the artist invested to come record the song. So another way to be an asset to an artist instead of just a liability, offer to pay for studio sessions here and there. I know that's not what a lot of people want to hear, but if this is your friend, if this is your family member and you love them and you believe in them, or you want to at least help them to do good within this thing that they're so passionate about, why wouldn't you throw even $20 at a situation? Actually helps a lot. Most studio sessions are going to start at $50 per hour. There's a minimum of 2 to 3 hours booking. If you throw $20 to $50, that is money much well spent, much better spent versus if you were to go out to the club and buy drinks and buy hookahs and spending money on girls. You are investing, directly investing in the success of this artist. If you offer to put some money down on the recording studio, you're helping that person be consistent, and you are showing, I believe in you and I want you to keep going. That is a major, major key, and you will be considered a top asset in the group. Another way to make yourself an asset within the recording studio, capture content. Everybody has a cell phone, but you know what is so interesting is when I'm in the studio, I see people on social media and they're going live and they're showing everything but the artist in the booth. They might be playing the music and we might be seeing, girls dancing and everybody popping bottles and all of that stuff, but they never turn the spotlight onto the star of the show, which is the artist, which is the reason why we're all here in the first place, right? So to be an asset within an entourage, offer up your cell phone, take pictures, take videos, edit some cool stuff together on TikTok, on CapCut to make it look cinematic, to make it look cool what y'all are doing in the studio. Content is king within every industry. So you can prove yourself to be an asset by offering to be somebody who helps to capture content and behind the scenes footage. And lastly, aside from all of those other things, to be an asset inside of the studio, the best way you can show yourself to be an asset is to lock in on the mission. Now, I already gave you this game when I told you to offer a little bit of money to the recording studio fee, right? But locking into the mission also means that you are engaged and you are interested in what the artist is doing in the booth. If this artist is recording a song, you are listening to what they're saying, you're listening to how they said it, and you are offering critique and you are offering constructive criticism to help the performance be the best that it can, so that this artist is going to get the most successful song that we can out of this session. Because literally the entire point of us being here today is to record a song. So yes, it looks cool. Yes, it can be a party in the studio, but the mission is to walk out of there with a dope song that we can share with the world. So help your artist to lock in and you will prove yourself to be an asset to the crew. Thank you for tuning into LexChat. If this helped you, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. In the comments, leave any topics you want me to chat about. But until then, my name is LexC. Peace.
Just gotta keep working. The time will reveal. Just keep putting in work.
Tell me your truth. If you notice, never knowing if you know it. Word is born, make a uniform, turn a black man to a POTUS. Understood I was growing, not overstaying cause I'm older. Come on out of that coma, I got the whole world on my shoulders. Weaponizing diplomas, just teachers not to be owners. At 18, I got 100,000, I could predatorily loan you.